Hi guys, it's Mike here over in Taiwan. I want to share with you something that I learned from a friend of mine over in Canada a long time ago. He was kind of struggling with some stuff that he didn't like, and he said to me, Mike, you know how you stop getting stressed out over things that you hate? And I asked him why, what it was, and he said, you need to love it, right? There's a thing called pet peeves. People have pet peeves about like things that like they don't like for example, there's a couple of people like in front of me. They're pretty loud, and I mean they don't understand what I'm saying, and I don't really care. And normally I'm trying to think like why is it they're so noisy, and maybe in another place in another time I might like go over and say, hey look guys, can you guys be a little bit quiet, whatever, but I don't care. I think maybe okay. So it kind of goes along with another thing that I've been thinking about or learning about is you only have 1,440 minutes in a day, right? And do you want to waste them on something that doesn't really matter, or things that bother you? And if it's weird about how in Taiwan I feel that since I've been here, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about people. I've learned a lot about how people, they kind of have their comfort zone, and doing things within their comfort zone, right? So, and it's funny, the thing that I was telling you guys about how my friend told me that you need to love the thing that you hate. So if you hate studying, then you need to start to love studying. If you hate it when people are so noisy, then maybe you should go over there and just go shake their hand or go talk to them or something. But yeah, my friend, his name's Aaron, and Aaron's never going to watch this, but Aaron said to me that everybody's number one. You're number one, I'm number one, everyone's number one. But when I put my number one in front of your number one, then now we have a problem. So it's kind of like this whole comfort zone thing, going back to kind of my existence in Taiwan. People, they have things that they want to do, like they want to smoke, they want to stand somewhere, they want to be loud, right? But now, does that necessarily interfere with other people? Probably not. Usually not. But sometimes it does, and then that's where people, they have a problem. So a long time ago, I went over to a station. This is when I lived like in the north part of Taiwan. And there was this old guy. He was smoking. He was actually smoking right under a sign that says no smoking. And that's pretty illogical, isn't it? So I don't know what came over me, but maybe I was just sick and tired, or just it was too early in the morning or something. But I'm like pointing to the sign that like, yeah, you can't smoke here, right? And he didn't care, because he's probably been smoking there for the last like 10, 15 years or whatever, right? So and I kind of made a gesture that I was going to take his picture or something, right? And he doesn't care. Like he took my picture too, and we're like going back and forth, like pretending we're taking each other's pictures, but we don't really care. And so that it's kind of like people, they'll do the things that they want to do. They have like their habits that they have been doing for like the past like how long. And if you're going to go and try to change them, then you're probably going to have a really hard time, because people don't change very easily, especially if they feel that this place is their place. I remember a long time ago, I went over to Taipei Main Station. If you guys have never been there, in Taipei Main Station, there's like a bunch of homeless people there in the nighttime. And there was these two homeless guys. One of them was like arguing, like saying like, this is my space, like don't be in my space, blah, 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 right? And I get that, because probably all around the station during the nighttime, I probably want to do an experiment and see this one time, but all around the station, there's just a bunch of people sleeping. They're not doing anything bad. They're not, causing a ruckus or whatever it is. All they're doing is just sleeping, and then they just clean up their stuff, and maybe the police come around and just be like, hey, look, don't do this at whatever time, and then they just go. There's actually even like a 24-hour fast food place that's around there. And I think they actually close maybe for like half an hour or like an hour in the nighttime. So it's not truly a 24-hour place. But the point is that they play like really super loud music, and they blast the aircon. So it's really, really uncomfortable to go sleep there. Because what I think probably is that A lot of homeless people will come in there, and they'll try to sleep, and it's very easy for the staff to say like, hey, get out of here, right? And you basically nudge them like 3 or 4 times, and after like the 4th time, basically they're just going to call the police. So what I'm saying is that even though in Taiwan there's like this huge homeless problem, but they're not really bothering anybody. For the most part, they're just kind of like living their own life, and it doesn't really look good. But at the same time, they got to go somewhere, and where did they come from? I mean, you could probably make like some story about them, like where they came from. Maybe they were like from a small town, and then they kind of just ended up in Taipei. Some of them, it's kind of weird to make up a story about them because you don't really know anything. A lot of people, like in Canada, we like to make up a story that, this person is really lazy and they don't want to work and that's why they're homeless, right? But, I mean, you don't really know for sure. Maybe they could have just lost everything. I remember I was watching this kind of the scam that was like going on in Canada, where somebody in like Europe or something, they would like pretend that the Canadian government was working with AI or something to make like this easy type of investment for people in like French-speaking Canada, and I guess they spoke French there too, but they also spoke English. And they would con these people out of like hundreds of thousands of dollars. This guy who was like a boss of his own business had to start renting again because he gave up like all this money to this like. And I mean, it's kind of sad that we're in like these type of state affairs where you have to like really, really look at something to see whether or not you could trust them or not. And even then, I don't think people really trust each other at all, right? Especially if somebody's like calling you over the phone, even if they're speaking your language and they know your name, that doesn't mean necessarily anything because you haven't seen anybody and there's like no legal documents. And I don't know. I don't want to get paranoid about this stuff, right? But even there's like some stuff like that happens like to old people and stuff in Taiwan, and I feel bad about it. Because it's kind of like these people, they have nothing better to do, and they also have like no conscience. They just like, well, I'm gonna go take this money. These people, they have this money and whatever, and why would you do that, right? Maybe it's kind of like the same type of attitude that people have on the MRT when you're like a young able-bodied person. You see somebody who's pregnant or maybe disabled or old, and you just like kind of like turn away, like, oh yeah, well, they don't need this seat, even though like I'm in the wrong, and the seat that they're supposed to be in, like I'm occupying that, right? So, but well, I mean, it's hard to say about how people are, and just kind of just the apathy of the way that things are going. But a lot of people, they think about themselves. I like to. There's a saying that I keep saying all the time is when you do something bad, people will never forget, and when you do something good, people will never remember. And maybe that's true, or maybe that's not true, but it's kind of the same reason why when you're the newspaper or the news on TV, you'll see some stories, and you'll see some really bad stories like car accidents, or these people got robbed or something, and then you go tell somebody. But now and then they'll have like these stories about I don't know, man gets saved by dog, or children receive $10,000 anonymous donation or something like that for poor people. I don't know, whatever it is, and those can like make your day, right? But people don't really post those. People, they don't really, and I guess it's just kind of the way that just people are. There's so many things that I think as humans we haven't really learned about. If you ask people what their pain points are, usually it's not enough money, not enough time, not enough sleep, and they just, we've been existing for millions of years, but we don't even know how to sleep. We don't really even know how to have like good relationships with people. So guys, I hope I just gave you like something to think about. I don't want to be like too pessimistic or anything, but there's things that I think we just need to work on, and hopefully if we just work on them by ourselves, then we can figure it out and have the right answers. So see you guys later. Bye for now.